All there is now. The past that we know shows up to us now. It shows up as thoughts about the past and memories we attribute to the past and the conditions we're in now that we say came from the past. The future shows up as now. Again, it shows up as stories about what might happen and apprehensions and anticipations, but all those show up now. So all we really have is now. And that's also wonderful. We don't have to worry about losing it. It's always now. Within now, I think there is a choice that we can always make. And the choice is a choice between ego and wisdom. Now, instead of wisdom, we could use other words. We could say ego and the universe, ego and oneness, ego and God. Whatever word connects best for you. But I'll say wisdom for the moment. So there's a choice between ego and wisdom. And that, we know what that looks like. We may not recognize it right in the moment and we forget, but I think we do know what that looks like. Ego is when we are identified as a separate self and attached to it. And we get attached to our views and our arguments and our stories, and we believe they're true, and we fight for them even with ourselves. And life becomes about that, about all that stuff we're identified with. And it ceases in that moment to be delicious. It loses its deliciousness, or the deliciousness is very limited, a certain kind of self-righteous deliciousness. And that's one way we're moving in now, with that egoic identification, that being hooked, that being caught, that being triggered. The choice is to not go there, to align with wisdom. And in that, we don't stay attached to all that stuff. We have views, we think about them, we talk about them, we have our feelings we talk about, but we recognize there's something grander here, that we're all a part of the whole. And what really matters is that connection, that love, if I may. And so those views, they just become less significant, and we can debate them, we can give them up, we can notice when we were being a jerk, can apologize for it, can learn from it. And what returns is the sense of life as something delicious and our connection to others. And that's the choice that's there. Now, sometimes just awareness of that choice is enough. Like just remembering we have the choice is enough to produce that little transformation. Other times, that's not enough. You know, like you're in the wrong place, but it's really got you. You're really hooked. And in those moments, I recommend having a practice that can help you. My favorite practice is Byron Katie's practice of the work, where you look for the belief that's got you. And in her account, there's always something you're believing that has taken you away from appreciating life, and you inquire into it. And she has a beautiful little structure for doing that. And you can Google it and find it. We'll also do a video on it at a later date. But it's a beautiful practice, incredibly effective. So when I'm really grabbed, that's what I turn to. But I've noticed over time, the more I've done that, the more easy it is to just get back to choice without needing to do the practice. But I'm really glad it's there for when I need it. So that's the choice. Do you choose wisdom, or do we choose ego? And that's the choice available at every moment of now. Thanks for listening.